Okay, here we are. We're learning about the Haggadah of Pesach, one of the main features of Pesach, and it's also one of the commandments, the positive commandments, is to praise God that He took us out of Egypt, to relate the going out of Egypt. Every year, the Jews went out of Egypt 3,331 years ago, as of today, 2 weeks. and this is not just the thing we have that we should remember that happened, and it's not only just a thing that's happening right now in a spiritual way, but it's a thing that should make us excited. And this should be, in a way, our very basic theme running in our souls all the time. Everything we do all the time, every day, every place. We see where we are now on page. In my book, it's 228. Okay, yeah, it could be. We're on Yud Zayin. Did I give you the right thing? Yeah. Here we go. Yud Zayin. Yeah. Okay, so we say one basic thing is, if you look at the Haggadah, you'll see there's a lot of things that are sort of not understandable. The Haggadah of Pesach, the story we tell on the night of Passover. So one of the things is, it says that there are 4 sons. The whole idea of the Haggadah is education, to educate the children. In a way, that's the whole holiday of Pesach, is to educate us, because we're sons of God. Like God told Moses when he went into Paro the first time, he said, go into Paro and say to Paro, Bani Bechor Yisrael, my son, my firstborn, or my chosen ones, Israel. So the Jews are called the sons of God, and as a son, the father has an obligation to educate him. So that's what we're doing. The night of Pesach, we're getting educated. What are we getting educated? That the same God who took us out of Egypt is the same God that creates the world, is the same God that gave the Torah, is the same God that creates us, that keeps us alive. There's only one God, Ein Kelokeinu, and God creates everything constantly from nothing. So really the only true existence is really God. But on the other hand, He creates the world, so the world must be very important. If He creates it all the time, it's not just here because of evolution or because of Big Bang theories, whatever. So everything has a meaning, but to go out of the apparent meaninglessness of the world and to see that there is meaning in everything, that's called going out of Egypt. That's called going out of Egypt. To go out of a selfish, meaningless, empty world that we have to just stick whatever type of meaning that we want. Allah, the French philosophers, existentialists, they say there's no meaning in the world. You just have to, no meaning in the world. You just have to do your best. This is a big lie. It's false, and it's also very destructive. The fact is, there is meaning in the world, but these French philosophers had a very strong basis for what they were saying. These were not fools. That's called Egypt. Egypt means living in a world where there's no meaning. And going out of Egypt means finding true meaning, ultimate meaning, actual meaning, not just meaning that you make up. Says the Rebbe, that's why in the night of the Seder, it says that there's 4 sons, and each one is a different type of a son. There's the wise son, and the evil son, and the son that's simple, and the son that doesn't know what to ask. And that's the order that they appear in the Haggadah of Pesach. It says, Keneged Arba Banim Dibra Torah, corresponding to 4 different types of sons this Torah speaks. One is an evil son, one is a wise son, one is an evil son, one is a simple son, and the other one doesn't know how to ask even any questions. So the Rebbe deals especially with the first 2. Why we put the evil son number 2? So the Rebbe explains, because that is the main point of the Haggadah, to deal with the evil son, to educate him, to educate that evil son. And the only one that can do it is the Chacham, is the wise son. He's got the power, he can do it. Another person can't do it. He has to devote himself to the evil son and to reveal in this evil son the Echad, like it says, Echad Chacham, Echad Rasha, to reveal in him the one. Yud Zayin. Therefore, the Chacham is right next to the Rasha. The wise son is next to the evil son. Yud Zayin. Horan Osefes B'davar. There's another learning we can make from this thing. Hora Nosefes B'davar. Why it repeats itself? I think maybe this is a printing error. Does yours have repeated? Where are you? Hora Nosefes B'davar. No. Yeah, my book has a printing error. It says it twice. Hora Nosefes B'davar, Hora Nosefes B'davar. An additional teaching. Not only does the wise son, the son that is the one who really believes in the Creator and learns his Torah and understands it, he has to work with the evil son. That's why you put him next to it. But the wise son has to remember something. Al Chacham Lizkor Tamid, on the wise son to remember always, Sharasha Hu Shcheno, that the bad son is his next door neighbor. As we say in the beginning of creation, what did God tell Cain before he killed Hevel? Lepetach chatat rovetz, at the the entrance, as soon as you leave the womb, the entrance to this world, chatas rovetz, sin is crouching, it's waiting for you. Kol gadol michavero yotzer gadol mimenu. Anyone who is greater, that God has given him an extra standing in the community, you should know that person has a bigger Yetzer Hora than everybody else. But Sofa Rasha L'Tzadik U'Mavakish La'amito, it says that the evil person looks at the tzaddik and wants to kill him. And who is this evil person? The evil person inside of us. So you should know you're not too far. You might be a big Talmid Chacham. You might be the rabbi of the community. But you should know you yourself are not far away from being the evil son. Because in the end, the evil son is not necessarily purposely going against God. He just doesn't want to have anybody tell him what to do. He just wants to live his own life. What's wrong with that? Says, well, nothing's wrong with that. If it wasn't for the Torah, then for sure nothing would be wrong with it. But the Torah says that it's wrong. You just can't do whatever you want. Sometimes if you want to do what God wants, that's good. But if you don't, it's bad. So it says, what is this idea of the Rasha? The Rasha is a person who does whatever he wants. Whatever feels good, he does. Therefore, the wise son should know that he's not far away from that either. Therefore, Allah the daktek b'miyuchad, he has to be very careful. The wise son, the religious son, has to be very careful with himself. Ulevakesh rachamim, and to ask mercy from God. Yazor lo, that he should help him. Don't rely on yourself. No matter how holy you are, no matter how great a speaker you are, and you've made all sorts of Bali Chuvas, you've returned the masses to their Father in heaven. Thousands of people are indebted to you for bringing them to Judaism. Don't worry about it. 1 second, you could be exactly like they were before you met them. Rak'az, only then. Yochal Rasha, then, only then can the evil one within you. Kapitkam Kavakrish Mori Admor, like the previous Rebbe said, Chacham Zakuk L'Shmira Ma'ula Mishcheno Rasha. The wise son, the religious son, has to be very, very careful from his evil neighbor. Now, some people say the way to keep careful is just keep away from him. But the Rebbe says, no, you can't do that. We have an obligation that we have to have a positive effect on the world. That's why we were created. That's the story of Abraham. Abraham could have just sat on his own and be a very great person. He had riches and things like that. But no, his idea was he wanted the whole world to understand that there's a creator. And that the creator creates everybody to live a good, happy, and productive life. What if a person doesn't want to? You have to try to convince him. What if he doesn't want to be convinced? You have to convince him to be convinced. You have to do whatever you say. If he really doesn't want to, then you have to pray for him. But in any case, our job is not to be isolated from the world totally. To a certain degree, you have to be isolated from the world. When you pray in the morning, you're isolated. It's just you and God. When you're learning Torah, It's just you and God's wisdom. But you can't do that all day. This learning Torah and the praying has to be in order that the Chacham should influence the Rasha. But the Chacham has to be careful that he himself does not become, God forbid. Shtei horot l'Chacham. Therefore, these two teachings for the Chacham. Number one, that he has to work with the non-believing Jews. And at the same time, he has to be careful not to be pulled into it himself. Mitoch kach kashuras beineim. There's a connection between them because of this. Shachacham yetapel b'rasha. And this, when the wise son works with the evil son, shemichutza lo la'aloso, someone outside of him, that he goes outside, he closes his books, and he goes out to help others. By means of this, yatzliach v'yochel l'rasha mikir bahu, that he can even defeat the evil one inside of himself. Because everybody is selfish. Everyone is selfish. The only exception, a person who's not selfish at all, is the Rebbe. And those like him, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, etc. We believe that all these people are only, King David, they're only doing what God wants all the time. Says the Rebbe, but everybody else, you have an obligation to deal with evil people. Don't get pulled down to them. So you can say, well, I'll just keep away from them. Also not right.
In the Torah it says that evil crouches at the entrance to your tent.
Right.
It doesn't say, so just stay inside your tent. It's by the door. You gotta go out the door.
Very good. Very good. It is crouching there, but it's not. As a very wise person said to me on Shabbos, if it's not difficult, then it's not yours. So to sit in your house and have everything easy is very nice, but you never really lived. You stayed in the womb. Yud Ches. Al Yidei Kach. By means of this, Russia, that the Chacham, that the wise son, Metapel, works with the Malet, the Russia, and elevates the evil son, the Tam, the simple son, the Eini de Elishol, and the son that does not even know how to ask. Kol Echad, each one of them, B'tziru Vav, it says Echad Chacham, Ve Echad Russia, Ve Echad Tam. Each one has a Vav. The Vav means and. And means it joins. This joins them all together. This Vav, it says in the Zohar and other places, the letters of the Osios of Rabbi Akiva, that Vav, Da Ot Emet. Vav is one of the true letters. Hamshachat Torat Emet. This draws down the Torah of truth. Mamalei Kodesh Baruch Hu, Hashem then will fill his requests. Bless us, God, when we are all one. When does God bless us? When we are all one. Just like it was when God gave the Torah to the Jewish people. It says, Vayichan Yisrael. It says that the Jewish people, he camped. The Jewish people camped under Mount Sinai, around Mount Sinai. But it says the Jewish people, he camped. B'lashon Yachid, singular. Harimatan Torah, the giving of the Torah, this was the whole purpose of going out of Egypt. Kasuv, like as it is written. When God said to Moshe, when you take the Jewish people out of Egypt, Tavdunet Elokim al Har Hazeh, you will serve God on this mountain. So the whole purpose of the going out of Egypt was to receive the Torah, and before they received the Torah, they were all one. The Jewish people had one heart. All they wanted to do was fulfill the purpose they were created for, right? Well, they were created. And what is the purpose they were created for? In order to make this world a better place through the Torah. That's why God gave them the Torah. So that was unity. That's why we have to makarev the non-religious Jews. Because we're not talking about non-religious Jews, the non-aware Jews. God, the same God is creating us, which that He does all the time. He also gives us free will to choose to do the right thing. And the right thing is to do what it says in the Torah. This will fix up the world, and this will bring big blessings into the world. How much more so if all the Jews are one? Therefore, we cannot reject a Jew. Even though it's fun. And if you ask me, a lot of them deserve it. And even more. But let's stop there. Because anybody who says that another Jew deserves a punishment, it could be that Jew himself. Let's not go into it too much.
We teach what we most need to learn.
What?
We teach what we need to learn.
There we go.
You didn't want to stop the tape there.
No. Therefore, it says in the beginning of the four sons, Boruch hamakom boruch hu, boruch shenasan Torah al Yisrael boruch hu. Life is dangerous. Life is a battle. But on the other hand, it's fun. God sends us into the world in order to fix up other Jews. How do you do it? By being friendly. You'll see that a lot of times being friendly, you have to be a little bit forceful, but not too much. I go every Friday and I put tefillin on. And I put a table in a big marketplace and I ask Jews if they want to put on tefillin. And every time, I've been doing it for 40 years or something. Every time I'm amazed. Every time I'm amazed, brand new. Jews that you would figure, they would say, just keep out of my business. Who are you? You're a religious freak. You're a maniac or something like that. Jews that they have all sorts of weird piercings and their hair is like a mohawk and dyed green. And they're dressed. Yes.
Why do you want to dye your hair green? It looks like Mr. Grant's.
They want to look like Mr. Grant's, whoever that is. Because that's better than to be nobody.
Yeah, but he's green and he's in the box.
So what? That's you know his name. He's famous. That's what people want. Anyway, don't ask me. I'm not a psychiatrist. These people dress like that, and of course they'll probably look at me and say, "Why do I let my beard grow?" And then they'll say, "Why does he do that?" They'll say, "I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist." So everybody thinks everybody else is crazy, and they're pretty much right. But on the other hand, at least I'm crazy because I think that this is what Hashem wants. At least it says in the Torah. That's what other people do. That's what Jews have been doing for a long time. And they're doing it because it just popped into their mind to do something. It just popped into their mind. So I'm saying this is what popped into God's mind. Is what I'm saying true or was it not saying? I don't know. Let's talk about it. Could be. Maybe not. Maybe yeah. Maybe they're right. The Lubavitcher Rebbe, on my own, I would never do this. The Lubavitcher Rebbe says that every Jew wants to serve God. Every Jew. You go into the marketplace and you see these people that their whole time they're thinking about, should I dry it green? No, everybody has green hair. I'll dry it red. Nah, red. I was in Germany, everybody has red hair. I'll dye it, pink. I'll make it pink. And I'll pick up a little purple, and I'll put a picture of a dog in the front. That nobody does. And he goes in the street and he says everybody's doing it. I was last week I was putting on tefillin. There were a whole bunch of people there. Anyway, I don't want to go into it, but one of the guys, he shaved his head, and maybe it was even tattoos. He had all sorts of different colors of circles on his head that he had tattooed on. I started thinking, this is actually not so bad because it's better than the other ones. At least when he grows hair, you won't be able to see the stuff underneath it. Maybe, who knows?
Tattoos?
Tattoos, I think so. Anyway.
This is the short Carmel?
Yeah. Anyway, you can go there. It's really... Anyway, you ask people to put on tefillin, and people you would never dream would put on tefillin. More expectable, the person would just throw something at you or punch you. All of a sudden he says, okay. And he puts on tefillin in the middle of the street. And sometimes his friends even make fun of him. And he just keeps quiet. Just puts on tefillin. Doesn't care. It's quite something. It's just totally not understandable. Oh. You got it? Or can you help him? Help him. 1 second. He'll get it.
Here you go,
There we
Mr.
go.
Smith.
Thank you.
Welcome.
That's when it says that Boruch. That's what it says before each one of them. Boruch hamakom, Boruch hu, Boruch shenatan Torah l'Am Yisrael, Boruch hu. It says 4 times, blessed is God, blessing. We need a blessing in order to go out from ourselves and try to convince others that what we're doing is true. And also, we have to be convinced ourselves. It's a pretty big... That the world feels good, there's no doubt about it. That the billions of people know that. That Hashem feels good, who feels that? How many people really feel that God feels good? Right? That God feels good, or that God is even, this good feeling that you have from God is totally different. It's like the difference between the feeling of being honest and stealing. A person that's a good thief, he enjoys it. He's got money, exciting. Life is exciting.
But
A person who's honest, it's a boring life. What are you talking about? Being honest. No action, no danger.
But why would you want action and danger? That's not a good thing. If you're bored, watch movies.
Watching movies is not a good thing.
Or learn Torah. Do something
There
else.
we go. That's right. But some people can't learn Torah. They don't like Torah.
Learn Torah, watch a movie, do something. I don't care what it is.
That's right. That's what you think. But other people don't think that. People say, I've watched all the movies. I don't like the movies.
Then just learn Torah.
I have a good
Listen
idea.
to music.
But some people like a little bit of action. You understand? Some people
Then
like
watch an action movie.
Some people, it's not the same thing. If you watch a movie, it's not the same thing it's not the same adrenaline as breaking into somebody's house and stealing their money. Maybe you're going to get caught. Maybe this. It's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exactly not exciting. Why would you want to get caught?
It's opposite.
It's not worth it. I'm telling you.
It's opposite.
The excitement, the rush.
But it's not worth it.
Who said?
Telling you.
Who?
I said, because you could go to jail and it's not
But
worth it.
that's
I'm
part of the
telling
excitement. You don't understand. So that's what people like. People do. The
Why
jails
do
are.
people climb the side of mountains?
There we go.
They could die.
you.
Very
They
good.
die.
Very good. People climb the side of mountains. They say like 200 people since the first guy who climbed up the Everest. 200 people at least have died climbing Mount Everest. But people keep doing it because it's dangerous. They enjoy it. There's auto races, there's car races, there's boxing. There's all these things that are really very dangerous things. And people like it because it's dangerous, because they want to live on the edge, because they are bored, right? So you say, well, but on the other end, what are you bored about? Isn't life interesting? No, it's not interesting. So that's the idea, is to make life, yes, interesting, to see that every second can be a big surprise and can be a big miracle. And you can find meaning in the most insignificant things. A beautiful flower, a puddle of water, a child laughing, just the fact that you can walk, you can see, you can hear. That's a big miracle. And then it opens up to endless numbers of miracles. And those are the things that you receive. Then there's all the things you can do. You can go and help other people. You can open up a business. You can talk to people. You can... Right? Play music, play sports. There's all the endless opportunities that you can do, but people don't do it because they want the rush of being a thief or whatever it is. Okay, so how are you going to convince a person to do Torah and mitzvahs? The person says, okay, I used to be a thief, and now I'm not anymore. Now I play piano and everything, and I'm a productive citizen. So you say, put on tefillin. Why? I'm a productive citizen. I enjoy. Why should I?
From your experience, you don't have to convince them. They just do it.
So that's the answer. The answer is you have to provide an atmosphere somehow or other that a person can realize, hey, I'm a Jew. What does it mean to be a Jew? A person can be open enough, and because now the big problem in the world is the lack of education. So that's what we have. On the night of the Seder of Pesach, the Rasha is put right next to the Chacham. That tells that the Chacham cannot satisfy himself with himself. He has to go out of himself and try to help others. But you have to have a special blessing. Mitsuyos deos asforos shenusach ze hutkan ketotza min aseder shohaya kavua ba'avar. Some people say that there's 4 blessings: Baruch, Makom, Baruch Hu, Baruch, etc. The blessings were put there. Lefiv haya arosha mishpacha kora hamasubim. That according to some opinions, the head of the family, the father, whoever, he would talk to the other people. He would say the Seder, Shekara Rosh HaMishpacha, Baruch HaMakom. When he would say Baruch HaMakom, blessed is God everyone would answer, Baruch Hu, blessed is he. When he said, Baruch Shenatan Torah Israel, when he said, blessed is who gives the Torah to the Jews, as everyone would answer, Baruch Hu. That's a pretty nice answer. Says the Rebbe, I have another answer. Not to knock down the first answer. The first is an additional answer. The 4 times that it says Baruch in the Haggadah of Pesach, Mekavni, this is referring to the 4 sons. All the 4 different types of children. B'kol echad mehem yesh litzor Baruch. Each one of them you have to make a blessing. A bracha v'hamshacha. Blessing and drawing down godliness. Lahashpialo, to give him. Echad. The one. Echad chacham. Echad rasha. Echad tam. This echad, the oneness of God, which is hidden inside of each one of them, how do you reveal it? By a blessing. You're not doing it alone. Yesh tzorech b'davar lo rak legabi rasha ki im legabi chacham. Even the wise son also needs the blessing. Ki kamor, like we said, the chacham, the wise son, always has to ask mercy on himself. A person can never take anything for granted. You're smart, you're religious, you're handsome, you're rich, you're successful. Don't take anything for granted ever. It's all a blessing from God all the time. And now you want to go out and also to have an effect on others. How much more so you need a blessing? Kedei la'amshich, in order to draw down. Kedei la'ashpia, in order to have an effect on others, to arouse the echad in each one of the 4 sons. Yesh lizdakek l'seder zeh, you have to have echad chacham, echad rasha, like we said before. Kulam nu ka'echad. So you have to know you're being helped. Number 1, every Jew already has this level of echad inside of him. Number 2, God will bless you. Baruch Hu. You will get a blessing to help do the reason that you were sent into the world, to wake another Jew up. Like the Rebbe said a lot of times, the first commandment in the Torah is pru uvu, be fruitful and multiply. It says that's the first commandment. The one Jew should make another Jew. One Jew should make another Jew. Now, spiritually, you find the Jew that doesn't know anything about Torah or mitzvahs, and maybe you can think, I'm too stupid, I'm too inexperienced, I'm too old, I'm too young, There's no such thing. As soon as a person sees that you genuinely care about this person, you have absolutely no idea what you're doing, you're afraid to do it. But they do. I took this Friday, my granddaughter was over. How old is she? She must be like 8 years old. And she wanted to go with me to do mitzvah. I hand out candles to the ladies also. So she wanted to come with me. So she went, and she was very, very shy. Very shy. I would say, would you like candles? I said, yeah. And I would say to her, give the candles. And she would. So I said, listen, you have to be shy about doing bad things, not to be shy about doing good things. So finally she sort of got into it a little bit. And she started asking, a little girl, and she has this high voice, what do you want? And you saw the people, everybody took from her, right? Even people that didn't want to take from me, right? Everybody took from her. Now, she hasn't got any experience, and she is not, intelligent, and she didn't read any sichas of the Rebbe, and she didn't read any Maimorim, and she's not she was ashamed to be, afraid to be, whatever you want to call it in the mug, and she's very shy of people. And nevertheless, she said, take a light of Shabbos candles, and people took from her. People said, she would say, you have to light at 6:30. They said, 6:30, okay, good. They just didn't know that she wasn't just handing out candies. So what does it mean? It means that you don't have to have any experience, you don't have to have any personality, and you don't have to have any training. All you have to have is just a will to help another Jew, right? If you were standing in the marketplace and you've got 1,000 sandwiches and there's 1,000 people that are starving, you're not going to offer people sandwiches. Here you've got tefillin, and these people are spiritually starving. They want to put on tefillin, and ask him, would you like it? Maybe not. Maybe the guy doesn't want, but ask him. It's available. Right? These are not my sandwiches, not my tefillin. This is you. But still, you have to have a blessing. Lafia amor, like we said before, yesh Lahazbir. We must explain. She'amor ve'amor lo. Ilu hayasham lo enigal. That's what we had a question in the beginning. The bad son, Russia, each one of them asks, and the Russia was actually the first one that appears in the Torah, this question, Ma avodah zos lachem? What are you doing? What are you people doing? And you answer him back, if you would have been back then in Egypt, you wouldn't have even gotten out. You would have died in the darkness. So the Rebbe said, what type of a thing is that to tell a person? I mean, he came to the night of the Seder. It's a commandment. He's supposed to come to the night of the Seder. He's mentioned in the Haggadah. The evil son is supposed to be there. And now the evil son asks a question. You say, listen, shut up. You should know you really don't even have a place here. We're celebrating the going out of Egypt. If you would have been back then, you wouldn't have even gotten out. The Rebbe said, it can't be that that's what it's saying. You're just inviting him here to make a fool of him. Says the Rebbe, Chas v'shalom, God forbid. This is not to drive away. This is not to drive away. Eina mekuvan is not intended to drive away, Chas v'shalom, God forbid, the bad son. Adarab, exactly the opposite. Hakavana kan, the intention here is, sheyesh tzorich lasbir lo, you have to explain to this child, noam shebatorah, the pleasantness of the Torah. Shekein hashpa'a el azulas efsharit, because having an effect on others is only possible by kiruv, by friendliness. And what does it mean to be a friend? You genuinely recognize the good in the other person, the uniqueness. When God said, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am God, your God, singularly, Nechrata B'kerev Kol Yisrael, there was carved into every single Jew, Ha'uvda, the fact, She'elokecha, that your power, your life of every single Jew is what? Anochi Hashem, the oneness of God. When God said on the Mount Sinai, I am your God, He carved into every single Jew Jewish identity. Umibechinat Torah, from the Torah, Muchrach Kol Yisrael. Therefore, it is necessary that every Jew, Yeh Mishiyeh, no matter who he is, no matter how terrible he is, Ligael, to be redeemed. Shekein hu nogel l'klal kavanot kamor. Like this is the whole entire intention of the creation of the world, to save the world and to save the Jews, to wake up the godliness. Why God hid it in the first place, I don't know, but like we said before, if it's not difficult, then it's not yours. Ilu hayasham, that's what we're telling this evil son. If you were back then, you wouldn't have gotten out. Back then you wouldn't have gotten out. In Egypt, before the Torah was given, that's when all the Jews died in the darkness. But now, after the Torah was given, every Jew is going to go out. After the Torah was given. Keneged arba banim dibra Torah. It says the Torah speaks about the four sons. Al yedei kayach, by means of this, shamarim et noam, when you show the pleasantness of the Torah. Yes, the pleasantness of the Torah, Mo'orim, you arouse in him, Hitkarvut Lavinu Shabbat, coming close to our Father in heaven. Lefi Amor, according to what we said. So that's what we tell the evil son. We're not saying if you would have been back then, you wouldn't have even gotten out of Egypt. So you have no place in the Seder. We just wanted to invite you here to make fun out of you, right? Now sit in this chair above the huge bucket of water, and we're throwing balls at this target, tennis balls at this target. Anyway, it's the target. You fall into the water. We're making fun of you tonight. The evil son, evil, gonna burn hell, right? That's not why.
Yeah, hold on to this extension.
Why? Right. What are you doing here? That's not what we're doing. This is not the point of Judaism. Even though this is a point of a lot of Jewish speakers, and it's very popular. and everybody likes to feel, and I'm on the top and these other guys are on the bottom. Says the Rebbe, this is not right. Every Jew is precious. Every Jew is one. Every Jew has a Jewish soul. Every Jew is a Mount Sinai. Every Jew, without exception, heard, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am God, your God. And if you think you're better than somebody else, you very easily, in another 3 or 4 minutes, you could be much worse than anybody else. And so we see in the Gemara, the stories of Yeravam ben Nevat and Yeravam ben Nevat and Acher, Elisha ben Avua, Yochanan Kohen Gadol, Korach. These were great people. And all of a sudden, in 1 second, they lost it all. Shimi ben Gera, Doeg, Achitofel, people that made war against King David.
Yochanan ben Zakkai.
No, not Yochanan ben Zakkai. Yochanan Kohen Gadol. There was a person, Yochanan Kohen Gadol. Yochanan ben Zakkai was a very holy person.
Guy?
Yochanan Kohen Gadol was talking about.
No, I'm not talking Yochanan the Kohen Gadol. I'm talking about Yonatan.
I don't know.
Yoni and the whale.
Yonah
And the whale.
And the whale. He did not. His intentions were purely good. He didn't want anything bad to happen to the Jews.
He didn't want God to look bad.
Right. He didn't want the Jews to look bad. God sent him to the non-Jews to make them do tshuva, and he didn't want to go because he said if the non-Jews do tshuva, then it'll be really bad for the Jews. The Jews are refusing to do tshuva.
Hashem saved him with a whale.
That's right. Hashem put him in the whale in the first place. Let's go. Lefia Amor, like we said before, Efshel Asbir, we can explain the reason that the main Agada was said on the second cup. The second cup, we said, corresponds to the evil son. That's why the main Agada is said on the second cup. Lochach, because, and also the reason why we begin saying bad things about the Jews. Beganut, in the beginning it says, Ovdei Avodah Zorah Avotenu, and Avram came from Terach, that he was a big idolater. What do we have to know that for? Yetziat Mitzrayim, going out of Egypt. Avshin nalit mi'agu'ulat achirim, even though it's higher than all the other redemptions that happen afterwards. Shekain b'kol agulot, because in all of the other redemptions that there are, like when in the story of Purim, etc., Nishara adayin bechinas shel galus, we still remain in galus, like it says in Purim, great miracle in Purim. But it says in the Gemara, we do not say Hallel on Purim because we're still servants of Achashverosh even to this day. That says Ve'inatzlu et Mitzrayim. But in going out of Egypt, it said that they emptied out Egypt. Kimetsuda she'en bo dagan, like a big warehouse that has no, a silo that has no grains left in it. Kimetsula, like a river that hasn't got any fish. They took all the good out of Egypt. Limarod zod, nevertheless, lo yazagul shlema. Nevertheless, after they left Egypt, they messed it up. They didn't want the redemption. And therefore, afterwards, there was exiles. Tachlita shel Yetziat Mitzrayim, the whole purpose of going out of Egypt is lagia legeula tida, to reach the future redemption. Geula shlema, a total redemption, she'ein acharei galus, that there's not any more exile. It's like saying the person goes to the doctor and the doctor says, okay, I'm going to give you this shot and you're never going to be sick again. That's pretty good. Huh? That's the way it's supposed to be. People are supposed to be healthy. The same thing, we're looking forward to the future redemption, that there's not going to be any more spiritual sickness afterwards. Everyone's going to be healthy. Jews will just be themselves, right? A person, there's people that are hypochondriacs. There are people that are really messed up. There's a lot of people that are really messed up. There's some people that even go to doctors and say, it hurts, I want to have an operation. And the doctor says, I'm not going to make an operation for nothing. We took x-rays, there's nothing there. I'll go to, and finally they go to a doctor that's willing to make an operation. Why? Because it's so boring to them just to be healthy. If they make an operation, so they get a lot of attention, and people are looking at them, and it hurts them, and they complain, and right, and then the people are sick. People just don't. There are people that can't stand to be healthy, and that's the most.
Watch television on Torah.
Very good. The most ridiculous thing we ever heard. A normal, healthy person, he'll find something to do. He'll find something good to do. There's something in the world missing that has to be done that he can do. If it's working in a factory, whatever it is, at least he's fulfilling some sort of a thing, of a need
To learn Torah,
for
watch
people. Learn television. Yes, watch television, not. Wait, watch television. Who's watch television?
Learn Torah.
Just learn the Torah, that's all the time until you
Play hockey.
play hockey.
Watch videos on your phone.
This is an idea.
Those are stuff to do.
You have to give more classes in motivation.
Yeah.
Motivational classes.
But
Why
I'm
be
too
in-
shy, that's the problem. But
To what?
shy,
Shy. Well, we'll work that out. We'll work that out.
that's just how shy.
You spend too much time watching the movies. You got to get out more among people, and you won't be shy
Not
anymore.
as shy as you think.
Yeah, you're not so shy as you think.
Not as
actually-
I think. I'm actually.
You're actually pretty good. No, yeah, that's pretty good, Zachariah. Very
Thankfully,
good.
thankfully.
Yeah. But since that we now, when you reach the future redemption, which what does it mean, future redemption? People will not be sick, not physically, not spiritually. They won't be horrible, but what is it called? The hypochondriacs anymore, that they'll try to. The Rebbe once said that nobody's going to be sick. In the future redemption, nobody will be sick. So he says, what do you need doctors for? He says, doctors exactly for that, to tell people that they're not sick. But doctor, I heard the doctor said, you're okay, it's nothing, no problem. Right? Please, doctor, you sure? I'm going to go to another doctor.
I heard something the other day that in China, doctors get paid as long as you're healthy. If you get sick, they stop paying them.
That's a motivation to get people to get well.
I don't know what to think.
I mean, they have something like that in America. As long as you're alive, you pay. As soon as you die, you don't pay anymore. Something like that. Me'achar since lagia legula atida. Huh?
Still medicated.
Yeah.
It costs more to die than.
Costs more to die. Oh, yeah. It doesn't pay to die, huh? Okay. Even though it's, I guess you're right. Even though it says in
Free.
funeral, the cemeteries, everybody likes it. People are dying to get in. They say, Me'achar since lagia legula atida. If Shari Davka, how can you reach the future redemption? Only if we are all one. Like we said, Makavanas Amiras Agada Be'ikara, that the intention, the goal of saying the Agada is mainly directed toward our main goal, Hishtadlut Ikarit, Lamakom Bo Akushi Agadol Bioter. Therefore, the Agada is directed to the place where the most work has to be done, the most challenging, the second cup, which that corresponds to the evil son. That's where the work has to be done. The evil son outside of us and the evil son inside of each and every one of us. Therefore, we begin by saying in the beginning, our forefathers were idolaters. This is also hinted at the fifth son. What's the fifth son? Sha'af Eino sho'el mal avodas lachem. He doesn't ask even, what is this work? What are you doing? Kivan she'eino yodea klal. He doesn't even know anything about Judaism. He doesn't even connect himself to Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. But techila of the avodah zora. This is a totally different son. This is a son that says in the beginning we were serving idolatry. Terach, Nachor. He's no connection to Avram. He's only connected to Terach. He doesn't know that he's even a Jew. Millions of Jews are like this in Russia. In America, there's also absolutely no idea what it means. If it wasn't for Farrakhan and these other people, they wouldn't even know they were Jewish. Right? He hates them. He hates, you're a Jew. I hate you. Why do you hate me? Because you're a Jew. What does it mean? I don't know. You explain what it means. I don't know either, but I hate you. Katotza minati pol bakach arba banim v'gam ben chamishi. There are 4 sons and even a 5th. This is what the Rebbe said in 1952. Katotza, this is the 5th son, the son that doesn't even come. Then we will reach the future redemption. The 5th son doesn't come, he doesn't even know he's connected, doesn't even know he's a Jew. And I say that there's a 6th son. The 6th son is the Chabadnik that goes looking after the 5th son. He's also not there in the night. You should know how many families there are, Chabad families, that 3, 4 of the sons are missing. Why? Because he's got a Chabad house in Thailand, this guy's a Chabad house in Tanganyika, and this guy's a Chabad house in hell. Who knows where he has a Chabad? The Lashon Zachar, like it says, Nor Lecha Shir Chadash. There'll be a new song, B'Lashon Zachar, Hamufna Legeula Atida, which is talking about the future redemption. La Yisku Kol Sugim. Then all of the different types of all the Jews, Russia, even the evil son. Av Kishla Atzmo Lo Zocher, Zocher, Av Legulas Mitzrayim, even though back then he wouldn't have even gone out of Egypt. Which is lower than the future redemption. Hari Begalala Torah, because of the Torah, all of the Jews, even the Russia, even the fifth son, the lowest type that he doesn't even come to the light of the say, doesn't even know is Jewish. All of them will merit to the Geula Tida, to the future redemption. Shinalit Migulat Mitzrayim, which is higher than the Geula. Who would say a thing like this except for the Rebbe? Where do we get this? Who would think that this is the goal of a person in his life? That this is the purpose of the creation? Who would dream of a thing like this? Jews that don't even know they're Jews. The guy doesn't even know he's a Jew. And the Rebbe wants to wake him up. The Rebbe wants to wake him up. You have an evil son, a bad son. You can argue with him. He'll yell at you, he'll scream at you. But at least he knows that he's Jewish. He doesn't like that he's Jewish. He denies that he's Jewish. Here's a person that does not deny he's Jewish. He doesn't know he's Jewish. He has no idea. His mother didn't know she was Jewish. Grandmother didn't know she was Jewish. But they're really Jewish. How? Because he finds his grandmother who's 92 years old, right? And she's sitting with a big cross around her neck or something. And then in an old folks' home, she says, I remember my mother told me before she died that we're Jewish. But I married a non-Jew because I was afraid. And my daughter also married a non-Jew because she was afraid. So, figure it out. And there's a lot of people that are like that. By means of that all the Jews are one, Nizkeh, then there will be benefited the whole world. The whole world will be a blessing. Nizkeh kulana legula shlema, there will be a total redemption. She'ein acharei galus, there won't be any exile after it. By means of Mashiach Tzidkenu, speedily in our days, the whole world will feel why it is being created all the time. Everybody will really be happy.
Good one.
Should I show them the picture of the dancing bear? Huh?